It's nice to see you again. We're joining you on this fine holiday evening. I'll probably have this uploaded by the holidays still, but it's an evening.
The
and
holiday's tomorrow.
Shut the fuck up. Don't timestamp our episodes. But it's been a while. We're back.
You didn't say which holiday.
I didn't say which holiday.
Thinking.
It's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day.
We're recording this way.
to all those singles out there, this is for you.
4th of July.
Have I got a new fetish for you, singles?
Oh yeah.
But either way, so we're back and we're recording this Ratchet style. We're all together, which is going to be nice and hell to edit. But...
Oh yeah, Will.
Perfect. We're in our studio with all of our recording equipment, and
is that recording equipment?
Yeah,
right?
all our recording equipment. Don't worry, I'm setting some levels real quick.
Editor's note: there's a bottle of $7 Canadian whiskey, Canadian Supreme. If you listen to this, please sponsor us. I love your product. But anyway, y'all, guess what we've seen as of today? It's the end of a decade.
End of a decade. We want to top it off with something special.
Yeah, something special indeed.
Something special for all y'all.
Mm-hmm. So if you haven't guessed already, we all just got back from Cats.
Yeah, we got back from the musical special. Definitely the hit Broadway musical turned movie.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Wow. All right. So
we could spend an hour at least rimming on this movie.
Yeah. Okay. So
rimming.
I guess
we're gonna change the word rimming.
Rimming. Rimming. No, I don't want to rim that movie.
Nope.
So all right. So first impressions coming out of that theater. Violent puking. All right.
Yeah, violent puking. It's a freaking musical. How do they get the audio balancing wrong?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I think that's the first thing to touch on is that
it's gonna be very diluted.
That's the point.
Okay. Yeah, first thing to touch on about that movie is so the music, it's a musical. So music is literally the only thing you should care about, and the music is really hard. It's so loud. The music is so much louder than the people singing.
And it sounds like a MIDI track. It doesn't even sound like they were playing and singing at the same time. It sounds like they were just playing a MIDI track of music and then just singing on top of it. It's so bad.
It's very it's a very perplexing choice. I don't really understand it. There's a lot of things I don't understand about that movie, but that specifically, if
you're gonna do a musical, at least get the music right.
Yeah, the critic in me is I can forgive a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. That's a real tough one.
Frickin' Sexy Cats, sure, whatever, do your thing. But not hearing the singers? Come on. That's a bridge too far.
Well, and especially the fact that, I said it for, one of the final numbers, or it's Memories, which, upon looking up, is apparently the hit song from Cats. That's the
really?
one. Yeah.
The one that the
Jennifer Hudson.
Okay.
And also
the one you couldn't hear?
Yeah. They had Jennifer Hudson sing the star song of that show.
Singing her heart out.
Yeah, and Jennifer Hudson is objectively a good singer.
Right.
Yeah.
And they play this fucking trombone over her.
You could barely hear her. It's kind of incredible. Who at Post was looking at that and being turn it up. Turn it up.
I need more trombone.
Yeah.
My son played that trombone. Keep turning it up.
Yeah, so that's
Papa's proud.
So that's a thing that happened. At least a few other times noticeably. It was Jellicle Cats, I think.
Yes, that was a really hard song, Don. Especially full disclosure, all three of us, none of us have seen the musical. So
no.
Yeah, so we were going in fresh.
Yep.
This is our first experience of the Cats multiverse.
Musicals in general, what's your experience? Because I've seen a lot of musicals.
I'm not a huge fan of musicals.
Okay.
Not personally, not.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think I've had this argument with Dan before. I don't like how it interrupts the flow of the movie generally, and that's
yeah.
And of course,
okay, but you're coming from stage production musicals.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen a lot of stage production.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a lot of.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with stage. I don't go actively search them out, but I'm okay with them because that's what you're going to the theater for or whatever. Yeah. But movie or TV musicals, I cannot stand. I don't like them at all. I don't find the music that catchy. Generally, it's it's my least favorite part of most Disney movies. I know it's a hot take, but.
Yeah, no, my thing is I like musicals, but usually I like the more, we'll say, campy ones.
I like when they rhyme. That's something that this one didn't do a lot.
I mean, yeah, but it's just supposed to be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously a purposeful choice, but...
I mean, have you seen any of Andrew Lloyd Webber's stuff? Like, his stuff is crazy all the time.
Yeah, there was the one he told us about on the car ride back, the train one, where they're just wearing roller skates.
Yeah, Starlight Express. An Andrew Lloyd Webber one, which is about a train Rusty who wants to, like... I don't know, screw another train called Pearl.
Wants to dock with that other train.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Just wants to...
The little hitch.
Yeah, you want to hitch it. You want to, bolt them together.
Nobody can see the hand motions.
You want to, you just want to, all right.
We're in an audio medium.
You can use your imagination. you just want to stick the train to the. Anyway, cats.
Yeah.
All right, so we haven't even talked about visually about the movie. Yeah, speaking of docking, that was the horniest movie that I've ever seen that isn't on Pornhub.
Yup.
Yeah, no, it is. It's weird.
And obviously,
so the first 20 minutes of the movie is purely crotch shots.
Oh yeah, just a weirdly high amount of, especially with what's her face, the fat.
Oh, Rebel Wilson.
Rebel Wilson.
Yeah,
like all of her bits were just like
cat names.
Yeah, were just her just sitting laying on the ground with her legs spread. Yep. Very uncomfortable. It was just like, okay.
And then weird, like, children mice, like, in the middle of this.
Yeah, all the mice were children. Why?
And then all the, what do we call them? Crotch roaches?
Crotch roaches. Yeah, we had a big old discussion about how my new least favorite, my new nightmare is cockroaches with human faces dancing on cakes. The camera slowly zooms in on their crotch.
For the record, Rebel Wilson's cat's name, Jenny Anydots.
Jenny Anydots.
Really?
All right.
Jenny Anydots.
The thing is, that's the funny thing, is that all the songs were about the cats. Like, literally, basically every song was just about introducing the cat.
And I
couldn't remember any cat's name.
No, none
because
of them.
they just, like...
Well, and, like, they were supposed to... I looked up... Apparently, there's supposed to be a song... Musical nerds that listen to us can correct us, so Tyler and I can correct us when we actually see it. But apparently there's just supposed to be a song that's introducing the cats, or naming the cats.
Yeah, which would have been real nice.
That would have been very useful.
Very useful. Having a little bit of a little pamphlet, just
Yeah. So, I'm looking that up. Keep going. But yeah, introducing the cats is like supposed to be a whole thing. And like I could not tell you what the main character cat was, or our focal point.
I know her name was Victoria. Yeah. Is it Victoria?
I think her name was Victoria.
You see, I didn't even get that.
Oh, it is Victoria.
Yeah, I think that because they said it a couple times, and I was like, oh, it's Victoria.
Yeah, and then that other like collared cat at the beginning apparently wasn't that big.
Yeah,
like he was kind of like introducing a lot of things at the beginning.
He was kind of like
completely took backstage. He
was like I would like to like call him like the conductor, because like all he did was like kind of move the plot around.
But there's an actual conductor, so you can't even do that.
Yeah, can't even do that. So he just like moved the main character.
Is that the cat dancing one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he Rumple Teaser? Who's Rumple? No. Rumple Teaser works with Mungo Jerry.
Yeah,
Mungo Jerry. What a world, huh?
Yep. I mean, I know it's supposed to be the whole point of they have stupid names, but
also
Rumple Teaser and Mungo Jerry.
So I love the end of the movie. Spoilers for Cats, in case you wanted like a 40-year-old musical or whatever to spoil it for you. But I love when they look at the camera and tell you how you can address cats. Like, what?
Oh yeah, no, and I'm sure that's a thing in the real musical.
I'm sure it is.
It's supposed to be more...
But also, those are real people on stage addressing an audience.
Yo,
this is a movie. The character that's just looking at the camera, being like, "When you see your cat, bow."
And they've got freaking human faces and human muscles and human.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And if you go see it before they change out all the like editing of the movies, apparently a human hand at one point.
There's several human hands in this movie, like just straight
and human
up
feet.
Yeah, and shoes. Just
Yep.
Like, okay, but besides the one where they have to have shoes because it's tap dancing, there's a lot of scenes where the cats just have sneakers for no reason.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
And I literally cannot tell if that was something they were supposed to remove in post. They just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was on purpose. I genuinely, some cats had clothes and some didn't. They just they have no clue. Idris Elba got naked at one point. That was a thing that happened. Him and Taylor Swift almost had sex on stage. That was a real I just want to say it was really brave when they all had that big orgy in the middle of the movie. That was a real brave scene that happened.
That was,
honestly, not enough people are talking about it.
It's what else we're not talking about? We're doing my boy Rum Tum Tugger dirty.
Rum Tum Tugger. I hate it. Is that the fat one?
No, Rum Tum Tugger is Jason Derulo.
Oh, okay. I hated him too.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
He had like the main and a song about him, and everybody drank cream.
Yeah, everyone drank cream. And it was
that song
was my
the worst.
The second least favorite song in the movie, just because that was the second horniest. That was like that and Taylor Swift's ones were the horniest songs in the whole movie.
I thought that one was maybe just slightly hornier than Taylor Swift's, but it's a pretty close.
They're pretty close.
Yeah,
and Taylor Swift literally drugged these people.
Yeah, they literally drugged him out to just
I'm sorry, not Taylor Swift. I think it's like Bumbleina or
Bumbleina.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I'm right on that. I'm getting a fact check.
Okay. Yes, it's very important to
I'm sorry, I forgot a syllable. Bumballerina.
Bumballerina.
Makes all the difference.
Oh my god.
I feel like
I know it's supposed to be the point of the musical, but I love these names.
I feel like this
so
can this be set in like the Banjo-Kazooie universe? Like that's what all the names are.
Well, that was Grizabella.
Grizabella, yeah. Bumballing, like.
And don't forget my boy Gus.
Yep.
The theater cat, but Gus.
Wait, he was the theater cat? Was that the old...
Sir Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen, yeah.
Who I did really like his performance.
He played the old like senile cat real well.
Yeah,
like,
the old has-been actor.
Yeah, I liked his number, even though I walked out halfway through to piss. I was into it. I was just like, you know what? I've had literally like nothing but drinks since I got into this theater, so I need to piss like a racehorse real quick.
Yeah.
So. How long have we been talking? I think Cats overall, like...
It's okay, so
shit on
if you like the musical, I bet you'll probably not hate the movie, just because, like...
Yeah, it's got no soul. It's
the thing is, you won't hear any of the music.
But you'll know what the song is already.
Yeah, so if you know the music,
but you'll see it and all flashy and whatever, and CG'd and all that.
There's no point of seeing this over the...
Oh, no, there isn't. But, not everybody can go see a Broadway musical, so...
Yeah. You see it off Broadway.
Or
and
whatever.
If you want, like, super sexualized cats, then this is also the movie.
Okay, wait. We haven't talked about this. We kind of touched on it. We kind of touched on it, but, okay, as an artist, I just cannot understand the thought process of, let's make them humanoid cats that are just, like, very uncomfortably realistic in some ways, but not all that realistic.
Goodness. Okay, so, as you mentioned in the car ride back, the human musculature.
It's very on display.
Oh, goodness.
But, like, I don't know if you've ever seen a cat. You don't see their muscles.
No,
not really.
No.
They're all covered in all sorts of stuff. So, like, it's like one of those weird things where it's like it's like humans wearing leotards, except for they have a layer of fur on them.
Yup.
But the fur doesn't obscure the musculature at all. So it's like... It is very weird to look at. It's very
also,
odd.
The ears and tail are animated.
Yeah, the ears and tail are animated, which is fine. Like, the tails were doing some twitching that I wasn't entirely okay with. But, like, it was fine. It's just, I wish they would have... I said in the car ride back, I wish they would have either just put them in suits and had the tails and ears animated, which is kind of what they already did, except for they fully CG'd their bodies, which gave them, like, the weird clay look.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which made it really bad, especially in the light when the daylight. Because in the dark you can kind of mask some of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But when they were in the day, they looked like straight up like PS3. Like
okay, which also brings on the fact that like literally everything in the movie was CG.
Everything.
Was CG.
Even things that didn't need to be CG
were CG.
Were obviously CG.
Yeah. This movie was they just wasted so much money.
Like there were
$95 million.
3 sets in the entire movie. They could have just built those sets.
Here's the wild thing, and I heard this on Reddit, so take this with a grain of salt. The finest minds of Reddit came up with this, but apparently that Broadway thing they had, like with like all the neon lights and stuff, that was a real set. That was the only real set in the movie, but they made all the interiors of every single building on that set.
Wait, no, so like,
the alleyway where you like the one with the milk place, like every single set in there was its own building. That was real.
Really?
Yeah, that was real. Everything else was CG, but that was real. So they spent all their budgeting on one street. all one street that was completely real, and all the buildings are real, and all the things in the like.
Why not the set where they spent 90% of the movie?
Yeah, you think so, but that was super CG. So I have no idea.
Very CG. Also, the street that they were on a ton was just very CG.
Very CG. Well, here's the thing: they made a whole street. And then they CG'd on top of it, so it looked fake when things looked fake when they weren't. And if that doesn't scream like this decade, I don't know what does.
Yeah, there's also very confusing scale between the size of cats and the size of humans constantly.
Well, that loaf of bread I know you pointed out.
That bread was tiny. Like that bread was
that
bread was to scale with the cat, but nobody would break a loaf of bread.
Yeah, sometimes the cat was the size of a brick, sometimes the cat was the size of an entire chair. You never know.
You never know. Sometimes they were basically human size, and you could tell because the set was scaled to them. So it's
well, I think that comes from the musical where they're not going to build a giant chair for a cat to sit in.
Okay.
You can't use that excuse because it's a movie.
They have to fix it.
If you can set a whole movie on another planet and have that be believable, you can make a cat to scale with the rest of the shit.
I'm saying I'm trying to follow their thought process. I don't justify them in any shape.
It's like that was super great. I know visually that was the most upsetting to me. Is just one, musculature, two, just inconsistency. Is very inconsistent.
It makes you really wonder what the musical was like.
Campy.
I'm sure. But if this was how bad the freaking
why couldn't this be campy?
Sizing was in the musical,
also and I don't know if this is in the musical or not, but why the humor in this movie all boiled down to bodily functions of some sort. Every single joke was either hit them in the crotch.
Yep.
That one is a fat cat. They use that for two different cats.
Oh god, that scene. After I saw that scene, it resonated with me more than anything. That James Corden was like, I haven't bothered to watch the movie yet.
Oh goodness, James Corden. I feel bad for him, and I completely respect his decision.
They all had a chance to say no. Most of the people in this movie had the chance.
They had to say, especially a lot of them were distinguished actor.
But they wouldn't have seen what the look of the movie would be.
That's true. Okay, so. Assuming you're an established actor and you have a lot of respect for the play Cats, if somebody came up to you and said, we're making a Cats movie, I would probably say yes.
Yeah, and then as soon as they said, hey, we also got Jason Derulo, I'd be like,
well, okay, but I would probably still say yes just because, some of the casting's not going to be what I like, but it's going to be popular, so I'll go with it. Yeah. So they probably had no idea what they were going to look like. Because they probably were like, of course we're going to be in fucking morph suits. It's going to be CG, because, yes.
Yep. I've been lied to. Sorry, I realized my Canadian Supreme was bottled in Louisville, Kentucky.
What? It's not Canadian?
It's not Canadian.
No, I think it's Canadian, but then do they just ship it to be bottled?
Yeah, wait.
Well, at this point, we have, a gulp of it left, so,
I'm confused still. Sorry, I'm going to probably cut that out. No.
All right, so grade Cats 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10.
Grade it from 1 to 10, or give it a letter grade. I don't know. Give it a score. Tyler, you first. Give it a score. Cats.
Give it a score.
Yeah,
I give it an E. It failed the class.
It failed the class. Cannot even extra credit won't save it.
Nope.
All right, Dan.
I'm gonna give it the same. I don't know. I'm gonna grade it in a tier. I'm gonna put it. I don't know in a tier I'd put it in. I think I'm gonna put it in a solid in terms of movie musicals. It's sitting at a D tier. It's gonna hang out with Rent because I'm finally a grown man and I love Rent.
Right.
Yeah, and somebody else is hanging out there too. Probably Newsies, but I haven't seen Newsies yet. But I heard Newsies is supposed to be bad.
Yep, Newsies. Probably the Belmonts. Yeah.
Yeah, probally the Belmonts.
Probably
and Simon Belmont.
It's Simon Belmont. Yeah,
D tier.
About D tier, about there. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna grade it at I'm gonna grade it as a uncomfortable new fetish out of 10.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna just say, look at your freaking waveform, man, when you laugh.
Every day of my life.
I can't help it. I have a big voice. I try to temper it, Tyler. I talk softly because I know. And then the instant anyone says something funny, it's just like, It's a deadly weapon I carry, Tyler. I bear this cross for all deadly. Of you. So, moving on from the catastrophe.
Yeah.
That was that movie.
Let's move on to maybe our decade.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been a decade, folks. It's been a decade, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. We've had a whole decade. A lot of things have happened in this decade.
A lot.
A boy became a man.
Less than I would like. For me personally.
Hey, I'll have you know, a boy became a man, and that man became a stunted man-child.
Yeah. A boy became a man, and that man lived in this basement for a long time. So, but on the media front, a lot of things happen.
Yeah,
a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. And usually for these kinds of lists, they give the host time to like think about it. Usually, if this were a more professional podcast, I would give you guys time to like look up what happened this decade and pick and choose what your favorite and least favorite things were.
But screw professional.
Screw professionalism. When have we ever done that?
I just need you to know.
We're groundbreaking. We're a new kind of style.
I'm gonna name like 10 things from 2009.
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna name like 8 things from like the last 3 years because I have the memory of a goldfish.
I mean that too. Same.
I'd be like, the only good things happened 2 years ago. So
pretty much.
And also, my phone even died while I was just looking, so I can't even look up if things came out. Like,
if we're wrong, nobody will call us on it. So whatever.
Yeah. So you're gonna say your favorite movie was Chappie, right?
Yeah, Chappie.
Did
that come out in 1999? I'm just looking up top movies from 1999.
There's no way Chappie came out.
No, Chappie was definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely this decade.
Because I think I saw that.
Did I say 1999? I meant 2009.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah, Chappie was the dude who made District 9, right?
Yeah.
No, that came out like 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I saw Chappie when I graduated college, which was not that long ago.
Oh god, I don't know. In terms of like things that came out.
Yeah. So all right. So first impulse, like this is like a gut reaction sort of thing. Like best thing you've done, like best piece of media you've observed, movie.
Piece of media.
Yeah. So
goodness.
Excluding music because that's not the kind of the podcast this is.
Yeah, and I mean. Music. I was gonna say music's an easy answer anyway. Pokemon Cypher 2016.
So like movie, video game, or TV show.
Oh goodness, that is tough.
Yeah,
or
we can do one of each. Okay, so
honestly, for me, like at least video game wise, it has to be Breath of the Wild.
Okay, that is a pretty monumental game.
Yeah,
it kind of changed the game.
Changed the Zelda franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of came back to its root. It's a weird beast because it kind of like it changed it by going way the fuck back to the original Legend of Zelda, which I thought was an interesting choice.
At the same time, it brought it back to like it is exploration, like the original Zelda.
It's like tell you very little.
Yep.
Throw you out into an open world and just find shit. Like,
yes.
I see. The more I came back to how much because I know on record, I think I came out not in love with Breath of the Wild when it first came out. Mm-hmm. But I'll just say the more I think about it, I'm like, that was fun.
It's a good it's
a good game.
It's just like a game you can get. That's a world I want to get lost in.
Yeah.
Like even if I have some really big complaints about that game. It's by no means a perfect game.
No.
But it's just like one of those things where it's like, if I can think of a video game world that I would want to get lost in, it's Breath of the Wild. 10 out of 10 times. It's just the amount of exploration and the amount of attention to detail.
Well, and also my thing with that game is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh,
but,
no problem.
Everybody has that game is one of the biggest water cooler games of because it's fresh in my mind because a friend of mine from school who I met just got a Switch and it's like, oh, I think I'm gonna buy Breath of the Wild. I was like, no, borrow my copy.
Yeah,
we're poor. Save yourself. Some money.
Everybody. It's like one of those things where everybody should experience it. Regardless. So this is the kind of game where you would lend your Switch out to somebody just so they can experience this game.
And I was just like, oh, play it and he'll just come in and be like, oh yeah, dude, by the way, I was playing this and I messed around with this and this and this and just talking about things. And I'm like, then I'm just like, yeah, I like just so many stories from that game.
And how long has it been since we had a water cooler game? Like, how many,
like
a true water cooler game where you just like, I found this, and you'd be like, no way, that's seriously there?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Or just like seeing how into that game some people can get.
Yeah.
The last game I had that did that was the Outer Wilds.
Oh, okay. I didn't play the Outer Wilds.
Or Outer Worlds, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. There's two different games that are...
There is a game called Outer Wilds that is not at all like that game.
Yeah, no, not at all. Outer Worlds, which is the bigger game, I guess. But yeah, that game was one where there's so many different ways to play through that game, and it's just every single day talking to coworkers and everything, and they all have a completely different experience playing through the game than I had.
But
which is incredible.
Yeah, back on Zelda though, the amount of attention to detail in that world, like
it's
that game, like that is the first, I think, I would describe it as a handcrafted open world, because like there's probably some procedurally generated stuff in that, because like there's no way you make a world that big without putting some procedural generation in there. But like the amount of like areas you'll find in that game that is like somebody obviously made this, like staggering. Hundreds and hundreds of places.
I mean, at the very least, every single Korok seed had to be
somebody made
placed.
that, even if they like copied and pasted a few of them.
How much is there? Like
999.
999 Korok.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, there's 120 shrines alone, which is insanity. And then like there's all sorts of other places, like hidden places with chests, little mini games to find all over. It's just kind of insane. And not even that, is that also there's an entire like ecosystem built into the game. I actually saw a few articles about this. Like when it rains, rivers will form.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Rivers will flood, and like small rivers will form. Same with like when it snows and stuff, like rivers will freeze and stuff. And that's dynamic. They like built that into the game.
I will say though, speaking of rain freaking sucked in that game.
It sucked. They really should. Okay, they could have solved that too. I wouldn't have minded if it was frustrating if there was at least a way to alleviate it, like a anti-rain suit. Then there isn't.
Yeah.
There's no way to deal with it.
It just rains and you're like, well, guess I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah, better. I guess I'm just gonna get another coffee, I guess. And wait for this to pass. But so that's a great choice.
Yeah, we could sing Breath of the Wild's praise, I think.
Yeah, but we should move on. It's been a long decade.
It has been a long decade.
There's more to talk. All right, so Dan, best game, like first thing that comes to your mind. Doesn't even have to be the best one in your doesn't have to be your actual best one, but the first thing you think of when you think of this decade.
So two series that I think define the decade for me that I loved games. I did look it up. Mass Effect 1 came out in 2007, which means I think Mass Effect 2 came out in 2009, but we completed the trilogy in this decade.
Right.
So the Mass Effect series I've gone on record. It's my favorite game series.
Yeah. And it's one of my favorite sci-fi worlds.
Yeah. No, and I think that's why I can't get too into Star Wars lately. Not like in general, is because like when I got Mass Effect 1, I read every single codex. I never do that, by the way. I'm not one of those people who go and read every single codex. I went and listened to every single codex they had just because the world was just so interesting. It's like and that's why I always kind of wish we would have a prequel, not a direct prequel, but like something unrelated to the Mass Effect Reaper storyline, just set in the Citadel or just set in somewhere in that world before it gets all blowed up by the Reapers. That series immediately comes to mind. And then I'm trying to think, because like the only other thing I can think is the most fun that I always think I've had with games was with Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4.
Those were very
very fun.
I love those games.
Yeah, very, very fun. I only played 2. I played a little bit of 3, but I didn't play.
You should play 3 and 4. I wish I could have some artsy thing, but you guys are way smarter on art stuff than me. Those games are just bottom barrel fun.
No, they're fantastic games.
Yeah.
There's just so much, like, in those games, they put so much design into some of those missions.
Yeah.
Like the freaking, what was it, Streets of Rage mission that they had in one of those games?
Yeah.
Well, what I love about those games, and this is coming from somebody who has not played it, but has seen enough of the games to kind of form an opinion a little bit, where it's like, I love how it kind of parodies other, like,
absolutely.
Like that entirety of Saints Row 3 seems to just be a parody of other video games.
It's a parody of the first 2 Saints Rows.
Yeah, it's a parody of those games, and it's a parody of a bunch of other franchises, just of like tons. Saints Row 4 too, where it's just like, you just parody whatever. Like,
yeah, well, Saints Row 4 did it for me as soon as it was Vice President Keith David, voiced by Keith David.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's one of those games where you can tell that the people who made it had a genuine, like, a lot of fun making it. Like, that's what I love.
Nolan North as Nolan North as one of the voice actors.
So good.
It's just like I just love it when game developers have a lot of fun making something, and like, because that seems to be rare nowadays. Like, where you can tell like a genuine amount of like actual fun.
And I will say, having like literally worked for the company that made Saints Row, they had a ton of fun.
Yeah. And it's super obvious when you just look at it. You're like, there's no way they didn't just have like like there's just tons of fun making this, and I respect that. I respect a company that can make their developers actually have fun in the process. Because like making games is like a grind. It's a huge amount of work. If there's anything that would make you hate games, it's making games.
That is very true.
So it
like, somehow still has not convinced me to not play games. But it's a lot of work.
Like you hear about the like crunch times that companies do and stuff, and you're just like, like if anything's gonna make you cynical, it's being in the industry. And they somehow avoided that with the Saints Row series, and I respect that a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, Trey, what's your game? If we didn't
all right, so
not Breath of the Wild.
Not Breath of the Wild. Thanks, Tyler. Okay, so game of the decade for me. First thing that came to mind, and this may not necessarily be like my actual game of the decade, but Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay.
So full disclosure, I hate MMOs. I've hated every MMO I've ever played, I've disliked. If we're MMORPG, I guess I should be, because like League of Legends is an MMO technically.
It's a MOBA.
It's massively multiplayer, but like MMORPGs, I don't like any of them. I don't have any fun playing them. I think they're boring. But Final Fantasy XIV did something special for me personally, where I got really, really invested in the story. It's like one of those things where it like kind of sneaks up on you, because the original Realm Reborn story is fairly generic, and it's like big explosions, kind of Hollywood blockbuster. That's the thing. It's just like it's a ton of really quality content in the game. Like
it's just a lot.
It's a lot. Like it's kind of overwhelming. But like when I played it, I actually felt like I was like I got very invested in the world that I was in, and that never happens. Like it's very rare. I was like, I'm actually invested in all of these characters, and I want to see what happens in the plot of this game in an MMO game. And not to mention that the content is actually a lot of fun, especially at the higher levels of the game, like the raids and the like the higher end like fates and stuff, like the like really high end like primals and things. Super fun, great music. I know Tyler, you played it for a bit.
I did. Yeah.
Like once you get I got to level 4. I tried to be a pugilist.
It's like, again, it's one of those, it's a time commitment where you have to like get,
it's a big time
commitment. Like, because like Tyler, you can vouch, it doesn't get super interesting until after level 50, and then like once you get to past level 50, it's like it'll get you.
I think I made it through the first expansion.
Heaven's Ward, which is probably the best. I haven't beaten Shadowbringers because I unsubbed because you know it's money and I don't have a lot of that. So but like it's just one of those things where like, and every update brings a ton of content, like every single one. Like even when I'm not playing, it's like, man, there's just a lot of content in this game.
So much.
There's just so much good, and it's like good content. It's not like throwaway stuff where it's like new bosses, new gear. They had like a Monster Hunter thing, which is super cool.
I really like that gentleman storyline.
The freaking the gentleman storyline, that was super great. And that's the first thing that came to mind, because like I know me and some other people like Chris and Garrett and Austin and stuff, we had a lot, and you and Trav as well, Tyler Trav. We had a lot of fun just playing through the game. Like it's just fun to play. It's fun to play together, and it's just fun to be in that world. And I don't know, like that's like it's something that I never thought I would experience, because I just do not like MMOs.
That's true. I also typically don't like MMOs, but there's a lot of things they did pretty well in that game.
Like it's not perfect. Like there's some things that they could definitely take. Like the beginner
masterpiece.
The beginner grind I think is a problem still. Like even if it's better than it was when I started, but
it was several days that I spent on that beginner grind.
And in that beginner grind you're just like, oh my god, why do people like this? Like it's just the story's generic, the combat's boring, like because like they lock a lot of the fun parts of the combat until later. And the dungeons are super boring as well, so it's like
Yeah, you have to get to later on where you unlock a lot of the good dungeons in the game.
Yeah, and then a lot of the actual like combos and stuff you'll be doing through the game that actually make the game fun. Because like that's what I've heard from people who played WoW and stuff. The combat in this game is a lot more like user, a lot more user based. Like it's like mistakes you instead of just hitting things off cooldown, you're actually like comboing into things and waiting for specific cooldowns and stuff. And it's like you feel like a lot of impact. Like
for sure.
Like when you mess up, you know you messed up, and things will actually go worse for you. Or if you do like the saving play, like you'll feel it. Like it's super nice.
I mean, even
you really feel like Final Fantasy.
You feel like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you feel like
Final Fantasy.
Even playing as a healer, I felt there was stuff for me to do.
Yeah,
a lot of those fights.
Yeah, healers have a lot of. They're super important. Tanks are super important. Like every class feels like they do stuff, and I think that's really cool. Like I think that's a really cool thing, and I'll come back to Final Fantasy when I actually have free time, or when I have free time and it's not this break.
Same.
Yeah. But like it's one of those things where I know I'll come back because it's a good game. So
yeah.
All right, so I guess moving on to the movies.
The best movie of the decade.
Best movie of the decade.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's tough because it's hard to remember what actually came out this decade.
There's so much.
It's a lot of movies, right? So it's one of those like knee-jerk things. This might not be your favorite, but it's the one that comes to mind when you think of this decade. Like, what's the first thing that like? All right, we'll go reverse order.
Fine. Yeah, we'll go.
All right, Dan.
Well, no, for reverse order, you start.
Okay. If we're starting, there's two movies that really stuck out, and full disclosure, sci-fi is my favorite genre. So sci-fi movies will always have a special place in my heart, especially if it's well done sci-fi. But top favorite movie of the decade, I think it has to go to Blade Runner. The new Blade Runner. I think it just has to. It's like one of those things where it's like Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's really good, really good cult classic. So if anyone hasn't seen it, it's really good. Ridley Scott, very good. Yeah. Slow. If you don't like slow movies, both movies. If you don't like slow movies, then you probably won't enjoy this. But like the atmosphere of the new one and the story and just like the world. Blade Runner basically invented the genre cyberpunk. Like they existed in some forms before that, but like that one, it was the one that solidified the current incarnation of cyberpunk. Mm-hmm. Like the idea like corporations want to own everything, and there's like neon everywhere and tons of like Chinese and Japanese everywhere. That's solely Blade Runner. Like Blade Runner invented that trope, and this new one just kind of evolved that in so many interesting ways, because like the main character is a replicant, which is like the artificial humans that they invented in the first one. Yeah. And like you kind of follow their story as they like try and be an important character. And such a good movie. Just very good movie. I know you guys haven't seen it, so I'm not going to like harp on about it, but like I recommend seeing, even if you haven't seen the first one, some things will be a little confusing, but like it's just it's one of the prettiest movies I've ever seen, like just ever, period. Yeah. Second one, and Dan, you and me saw this together, Annihilation.
Oh my gosh, Annihilation was so good.
I fucking love that movie. Yeah. Like that's a movie that sticks with you, man. Like that's and again, both of those movies came out in the last 5 years, so like this is kind of cheating because I don't really remember a whole lot of the movies that came out before.
Earlier. Yeah, you can like twist my arm and ask me what movies came out in 2011.
I know. It's hard. It's a hard thing. But like Annihilation, that movie like stuck with me. It has such a cool concept that it like everything that happens in that movie, and especially the bear in that movie. Boy, the bear in that movie.
That movie is good. I don't like. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It didn't like stick with me as much, but I still go back to like that's a movie people should see.
Yeah, it's a movie that makes you think, and it's got a really interesting concept and like really high-minded themes, and I think that's cool. And again, as somebody who likes sci-fi a lot, it's one of those ones that just kind of grabbed me and just didn't let go. Yeah. Arrival is another one's good, but like that's not.
Yeah, Arrival was pretty good. Yeah,
I enjoyed Arrival. But that moving on, Dan.
I've got an answer that's super cliche. It's dumb. Endgame. It's got to be Endgame or like the Infinity Saga.
The Infinity Saga,
Getting to be alive and like the nerd that I am, and getting to be alive for that happening.
Right? No, that was very close. Like if Blade Runner and the other one didn't like stick out to me so much. Like when I just thought about it, like those, like love or hate Endgame and Infinity War.
It happened.
The fact that they stuck the landing.
Yeah.
That a decade's worth of movies in a series that they somehow made work. Like nobody could see that
extends
coming.
To like the larger like the list of Marvel things, because like getting to be around for that and just seeing like it's also like this weird culture shift where comic books went from like the like dark nerd and like there's a lot of that in general. Like I won't bring it up too much, but with games even I would even talk about like the shift with D&D.
Oh yeah,
is like a big example of in the last decade of like, you know, even like Magic the Gathering, when we started playing it years ago, it was like
nerd shit.
Yeah.
And then now like the popular consciousness kind of latched onto it. Everybody, there's so many people play Magic.
Podcasts and
D&D and Magic and stuff. Hell, even games like 40K, like I play that.
Yeah.
If you bring that up in like mixed company, you still sometimes almost a lot of times I still get people be like, "Oh, you play 40K too?" And I'll be like, "No, how the hell is that?"
Literally, as kind of an aside, like my first interaction with most of the other grad students at like the school I go to, where I knew nobody, was at this house party, and I hear the words Twilight Imperium get said from another room. Yeah. And I just like a puppy hearing its name called. I walk in there and I'm like, interrupt their conversation. Like, sorry, Connor, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did you just say Twilight Imperium? He's like, yeah, I was thinking about getting. I love Twilight Imperium. And then another guy who is the other Dan I go to grad school with, again on like the other side of a kitchen, hears us talking, goes, "Are you guys talking about Twilight Imperium?" So just the fact that like that is so that also kind of is with the Marvel thing of like this whole shift of like people like nerdy
shit has kind of become like the like popular like groupthink a little bit. And I think that's I think that's cool.
It is
cool.
I like it. Yeah.
I mean,
I know some nerds are like, they're not even fans, but
stay off Twitter, I guess. But like,
shut up. Let me have fun.
Yeah, I'm super glad that I can just bring stuff that I like up, and then there's like a pretty high chance that a lot of people will respond to it. I think that's incredible. I know at CCS, there's been a lot of times where players from my D&D campaign that I run over there will just walk up to me. I'll just be like sitting at a table talking to people. They'll walk in and be like, "Oh my god, that was so fun, this shift we did last week." And then other people at the table will be like, "What, you guys play D&D?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, we play D&D." And they'll just all start nerding out about it. I'm like, this is so cool. I'm so glad to be alive right this minute.
Yeah,
it's
for
cool.
Sure. So yeah. And to bring it back, that's like, again, part of what I like with the Endgame. And also like, that movie was so fucking cool. Shut up. I love that movie. It's so good.
Yeah, even like...
It's not good, but it's great.
Like, yeah, even like, anybody who has problems with that movie, I agree.
I have problems with that movie.
I have a lot of problems with Endgame, but man, you cannot tell me that Captain America throwing Mjolnir and doing fucking Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter combos on Thanos wasn't the cool. If you tell me that isn't the coolest shit in the whole world, you're lying. It's an objective fact.
And then like. Yeah, I kind of wanted like a movie that I wish had more depth to it, but like that one.
No, don't apologize.
No, my movie's gonna have zero depth, so don't worry.
And then also, I'm pretty sure it came out this decade because we talked about comedies a lot and like how comedy to me is, and you also is like this dying genre of like it goes to slapstick or it goes to like
improv, bad improv.
Yeah, but Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yes,
and by extension, Cabin in the Woods and that like pseudo horror genre.
Yes, like the horror comedy. I think that's the only comedies that have like stuck out because like man, Cabin in the Woods is a fucking great movie.
Oh yeah,
sure.
And that came out in
horror movies.
That came out in like this decade, right? Like
I believe that came.
It had to be like 2012, 2011.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure.
It probably came out in 2009.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I think it came out this decade.
I remember watching it when I like graduated high school, pretty much. So
2010.
Close enough.
But yeah, no. So like that type of stuff, solid comedies, and like just still love them of just things they've done. I'm sure there's a million other movies I'm forgetting, but
whatever. I mean, again, this isn't like the best. This isn't your favorite. This is just like knee jerk. This is like first thing you think of.
So knee jerk for me is going to be a little bit of a weird pick, I think, because it's not, I don't think, a very popular movie, but it's one that really stood out to me, which is Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore. Oh, I heard that's the first person movie, right?
It is the first person movie. It was very interesting just from how the movie was filmed and how it was produced. And especially if you're coming from the point of view of a person who plays video games, like, you know, maybe me.
Yeah, maybe
me. Yeah, it's it has so many references to classic games and so many references to games in general that, like, I don't really understand how you could, like, not just enjoy the movie.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot of really good things about it. It's just like especially like to have the fucking cojones to want to like make a first person movie and like make that actually work. Like,
yes, it was just such an interesting concept for a movie. It's the only movie that's done what it has done. And also just it again, the connection to video games, which I have such a close connection with myself. I mean, making video games, I don't know how you...
Yeah,
but, like... Oh, goodness. That movie was just... It was so good. Plus, from a comedy point of view, it was pretty good.
Right.
And I know you don't really do comedies that much, Trey.
Well,
but...
yeah. Okay. So, I want to clarify... If it's comedy mixed with another genre, I think I usually don't hate it. If it's a pure comedy...
Rom-coms.
I don't like most rom-coms.
Most rom-coms
so Hardcore Henry was mostly action but with
comedy
interspersed.
So like that, I agree. Like that's one of those things where it's like, and I say I don't like comedies. I don't like pure like a lot of things where like you go just for the laughs. I'm not a huge fan of because I think they're lazy. But,
I will say if you're not that into video games, you probably will not like Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, or if it makes you motion sick. I've heard that.
Oh, that's what I heard. Probably. It did not affect me, but I'm sure.
I've heard there are people who like could not watch the movie just because it was again it's first person and that would some people get really really sensitive about that thing. So, okay, so
that's movies. Are we on shows? Because now we'll switch it up. I get to go first for shows.
Yeah, all right.
Because I got this.
You got this. Yeah, we're doing the whole package. It's the end of a decade, Tyler.
So does this include anime or is this just
anything?
Any show.
Any show.
I'm gonna have a couple.
We're not gonna split anime. We're not weebs here, Tyler. What do you think this is? The weeb show?
Well, and like
you're right.
There's no anime besides Brotherhood, which is the obvious example from 2011. I think I looked this up.
Yeah,
Brotherhood. It's great.
There's a few anime, but like the ones that stuck with me actually weren't anime, which I thought was pretty interesting. But
well, and like that's the only one that I would say like people should watch that. And then Hero Academia to a lesser extent has just been the most fun, and that even came out like within the last 3 years. Love that show. It's been the most fun I've had with the show in a while.
Yeah.
As far as my show of the decade, Trey, it's probably going to be one of yours too. BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, BoJack Horseman.
Yeah,
it's one of the few shows that I can binge on. I like. It's been a long time since I had a show that I literally can watch the entire thing in an entire. I know it's happened multiple seasons now.
No,
we're like we were gonna watch a bunch of episodes together one season, and then I'm like, I think I messaged you early the next day, and I'm like, I think I did a bad thing, Dan.
Yeah, no, it was.
And then you guys just like, yeah, same, and we both watched the entire season that night.
Because that was the season before this last season when like, No, that was like 2 seasons ago. Because last season, not the one that we're halfway through, but last season, last season got me, if for no other reason, I think it's from the Lost podcast episode too, but the eulogy episode.
Yeah, that was a real good.
I think that was written.
That was such a good
for
episode.
Me. Like that one hit so home. And it's been, I don't know. There's like, we've talked about BoJack way too many times.
Oh yeah,
like,
we've had so many episodes of just BoJack.
Yeah, I could sing its praises more, but BoJack, I'm trying to think of other examples for shows from this decade. Futurama didn't finish this decade, or if it did, it finished like at the beginning of it, but watch Futurama.
Yeah. If we're going back to me though, one thing. Okay, so here's maybe a hot take. I don't know. It's like one of those things where I think if we're talking about like impact of the decade, I think Game of Thrones.
Well,
to me, like is probably the most like influential show to me personally, because like I don't think I've ever watched like a show on television that like hit me as hard as like Game of Thrones did through most of its runtime.
Yeah, and then just from an outsider, I still haven't seen any of it, but from an outsider's perspective, just seeing like people love this show, and then just the last season
just tank it. Coming from the loving the show super hard to absolutely hating it. I'm very much on that front where it's like I do not want to rewatch that show because knowing how it ends actually ruined the experience. But at the same token, that show was so huge for me for so long. Like for 8 seasons, it was like one of the best shows on television. So like I couldn't I couldn't in good faith say it wasn't like my favorite show of the last decade. Like, if we're taking like amount of time to to dislike, it's definitely Game of Thrones. But at the same time, man, the last like 3 seasons, oh boy, oh no.
Yeah, it's just, again, as an outsider, have you watched Game of Thrones, Tyler?
No.
Oh yeah. So again, as outsiders looking in, it's like does this weird thing where like, for the longest time, it was like, I had to watch this show. I had to watch this show. You have to watch this show.
Talking about, like, water cooler things. It's definitely, like, the water cooler show where it's, like, you want to, like, every episode you talk to, like, people you know about the episodes. I will say,
having heard the reaction to the end of the show, I'm kind of glad I didn't get into it.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
It was a little cathartic. I'm not gonna lie. Just be like, hey guys, your stupid show ended bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of respect that that opinion. It's just like one of those things where, like, man, I love the journey, but the destination was so bad.
Yeah.
It's like you have this. It's like, imagine if the Lord of the Rings, like, you spend like all this time on a journey going to the destination, and you get there, and it's just fucking just
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar. You sir brought the ring to me, sir. Fucking. That's about how I feel. It actually encompasses it pretty well.
Yeah.
Just imagining fucking who directed Lord of the Rings.
Peter Jackson.
But imagine Peter Jackson being like the very like like they get to Mount Doom and Peter Jackson just like takes a hot shit on stage. He's like walks up and he's like, all right, everybody freeze. Make sure the camera's running. He's looking straight at the camera. Just pulls down his shorts. Yeah. He's like, all right, everybody.
I mean, thankfully, at least from like, I know it's like end of the decade, so literally this show made it in like with a week to spare. But Game of Thrones people have been able to latch onto The Witcher.
Oh yeah,
which I haven't watched.
I mean,
I'm not gonna
to be fair, I don't think The Witcher is very like the Witcher universe is not very similar to Game of Thrones.
The Witcher, or well, at least the first few episodes of The Witcher by now. I will say the show is not very friendly if you are not familiar with anything.
At all. Yeah, if you don't know the universe of The Witcher, you are going to be very confused.
Oh, very confused. All right,
well, I've got 300+ hour games to play.
My dad watched most of the season and he really enjoyed it, and he knows nothing about The Witcher. I guess there's enough mysteries to solve that you kind of like.
There's just so many names thrown that are never explained.
No,
anywhere.
There's lots of name dropping in that show.
Yes, that is very much
the choreography in that show is excellent.
Oh goodness,
holy shit! Like that sword fight in the first episode. It's like almost one take of just fucking Henry Cavill just going ham.
And I was a little bit skeptical at first when they announced Henry Cavill as
he does a really good job.
He is really
He's an
good.
Obvious fan. If you hear any interview about that, I know it somehow became like the Witcher talk.
No, because we're talking Game of Thrones. It's more so I want this documented so that in 9 years when the Witcher show finale takes shit.
Well, to be fair, the Witcher, they at least know they have a roadmap to the finale. At least.
That's true.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't.
Not really. The books are still ongoing.
Yeah.
So like we have a very, very consistent roadmap to the end of The Witcher. Yep. So like at least there's that.
Yeah.
So we'll see that, but
we will
Witcher
see that.
show. We'll talk to you again in a decade.
We will. Yeah.
See you when I'm 37.
Assuming the podcast will be on that long.
Yeah. Assuming podcasts are still even around.
Lucky you'll be that young.
Mindcasts. We just project our thoughts to the viewing public. All right, but Tyler.
TV show. So that's a tough one. That is a really, really tough one. But of all things, I think I'm actually going to go Dragon Prince.
That's a really good one.
For the decade.
Yeah.
For the 2-year-old show.
Yes,
not
I know.
Avatar.
I know that.
Well, Avatar: The Last Airbender was not this decade. No, Korra was this decade.
Oh, Korra was this decade.
No, the original came out in 2005. And I looked it up because I was thinking about that.
Yes. And the only reason why is because this show is people actually solving things like actual human
people.
Beings.
Oh my god, I've had this conversation more than once.
With me even. I love this. Yeah,
but it's like characters solve problems like people.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's like such a weird revelation where they don't like hide things from each other for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of that, but it's so much less than
I think especially the main character, like the main cast, they solve problems so reasonably.
Yes,
it's so refreshing.
Because I remember, like, you told me that as a review for the show, and then like I saw the episode where I can't remember his name, but the main character got mad at the elf girl.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like, oh, I'm not immediately distrusting you because I trusted you before, so I don't immediately hate you for the next 20 minutes. And
they actually just talked about it.
They just had a conversation.
And then he heard her side, and he was like, I don't agree, but I still love you.
Yes.
And then they moved on.
Yes. Isn't that weird?
And I'm like, wow, it's almost like how real people act in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we haven't had an episode since the latest season has been released.
I like the latest season a lot.
Oh goodness, the latest season's good too.
Very good. More people need to watch that series.
Oh, yes.
Man,
we need to keep it going.
It continues the idea of real characters like the Rayla and what's his face, the prince.
Yes.
Little Prince or Tall Prince?
Tall Prince.
Okay.
Act like people so much.
That was Callum?
Yeah, Callum. Yeah, Callum and Rayla are so much like actual people. It's amazing. Like every interaction they have that season is just so relatable. It's just amazing.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
Like I actually understand that a lot, especially since Avatar: The Last Airbender is off the table.
That's the only way, because I could have picked anything. I could have picked Stranger Things. I could have picked so many other fantastic shows that have happened in the past decade.
I just really don't want to keep giving Netflix the hype.
Yes, true. We keep hitting the Netflix button. But
we do.
To be fair, Netflix, as many misses as they have, when they hit
really big hits.
When they hit, holy shit, do they hit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I actually entirely agree with that choice. Is for the sole reason where it's like, man, that show it filled a hole that I've had since Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, because Korra did not fill that. Korra was in a lot of ways a dumpster fire. I didn't hate it, but it's in a lot of ways that's a dumpster fire show.
Yeah. But I will say my anime choice is different.
Oh yeah.
Wait, yeah.
Are we going to do anime choice different?
Because I don't really have an anime. I got to think about what I've seen. JoJo's, actually, that's a lie. JoJo's came out. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's fair. I mean, if we're
all
talking
5 seasons.
Yeah, if we're talking about like just pure impact too, like that one kind of changed the landscape.
It has been a huge impact.
Yeah, I mean, again, if we're just like quick rapid firing, Hunter x Hunter, like
Hunter x Hunter. Okay, interesting.
Because I think of Brotherhood and Hunter x Hunter. I think Brotherhood definitely was the more the better of the two. Like I really like Brotherhood, but we're talking about the one that I keep coming back to more. Yeah, it's Hunter x Hunter. I do watch, because I'm a fucking nerd. I watch fucking like video essays about the Nen system and like Meruem and shit like that. Yeah, I don't do that for Brotherhood, for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, because even though I think it's a better show, even though I think it's a better show, I think like the concepts that you get into in Hunter x Hunter are just like more my speed. I just really enjoy listening to stuff about that. Yeah. So like, again, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, better show.
So that'd be the new Hunter x Hunter, because I think the old
2011.
That one was like 1990 something. Yeah, 2011. The 2011 Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, but you can do your choice, and then I got one more idea. I think maybe just rapid fire around the circle. We all just say one other thing people need to see from this decade. I got so many other options.
Oh, there's so many.
There's a lot of things.
There's a lot of things.
Just rapid fire. Yeah. No, what was you wanted to talk about an anime, Ty? What is
an anime? Yeah. Oh goodness, that is a tough one actually.
You said it sounds like
you started this, Tyler.
You're right. I did start this, and I'm sorry. I might have made a mistake. I might have jumped to some. I
mean, I like how we're all just throwing Attack on Titan.
Well, okay, all right.
Okay,
to be
wasn't
fair,
that good.
Yeah, fair.
It's
compared
all right.
to everything.
Yeah, else. That hyped everybody up to this weeb shit.
Yeah, but it didn't hype me. I was already on that weeb shit when that came out, so I didn't really like.
Because I think I might be tied between a couple here. For first place, and that would be Made in Abyss.
Oh yeah,
so
I was gonna talk. Yeah.
You know, that one also captured my attention like nothing else. Like that was so like, if Hunter x Hunter hadn't soaked up, like if it wasn't 144 episodes of Hunter x Hunter, then Made in Abyss, hands down, holy shit, that show,
that was amazing.
I just love how the composer's Australian. That never happens in anime.
Oh goodness, no. And I'm so looking forward to the next season. Yeah, which is finally gonna be happening soon. I think.
I think it's a movie or some OSTs. I don't know.
Is there?
Or not OSTs, OVAs. But it's not going to be a full new season. But it gets to the best arc in the whole manga, which I'm so happy for Best Dad.
Yeah.
The other one is going to be probably somewhere between Mob Psycho and One Punch, but I think I have to lean towards One Punch.
Shit, I forgot about Mob Psycho 100.
Oh, yeah. Did you see season 2?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's really good. That's the thing, is like there's a lot of good.
It's a lot of good shit, right?
So much good shit.
But we're talking about like monumental stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to tune out recency
Which means
bias,
I think I have to go with One Punch just slightly.
Yeah.
Well,
I will
Punch
say the
had the
new
same
season has been kind of, it's
Yeah.
okay, but the first season is
That's
just...
true. First season like really captured people.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness, it did.
Really captured people.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
I know. Again, rapid fire, and for some reason this became the anime shit. But Devilman Crybaby.
Oh yeah.
Love that.
That was
I
so
love
good.
that anime. Everybody should watch that. You cowards, get on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, these are probably recency bias, but like, they're also the only shows that I can think like I wanted to see more were from like super recently. Kaguya-sama, hilarious.
Yeah,
love that show. Fucking hilarious. Konosuba.
Yeah, Konosuba.
Konosuba. And then
I mean,
I know you weren't as
yeah.
big a fan of that
I liked
one,
it.
but
And
I really
then
like Konosuba.
I really. Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
That one
Gunny
was
Girl.
That one was
Of Gunny Girl.
surprising. Yeah, Gunny Girl.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly good. I wouldn't put it in the top, but I would say
I'd put
it's
it
worth
close for
watching.
me.
It was surprisingly good.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be
And I
nearly
did finally
as good
watch
as it
Steins
was.
Gate, but that came out in like 2005.
Oh, goodness,
Yeah.
Steins Gate is amazing.
But
And Steins
not-
Gate Zero
not this
happened
decade,
this
but-
decade, but
Yeah.
Which completely
watch
puts
Steins
another one I was thinking
Yeah.
out of the water, which is that girl who really likes fish eggs, the psychic girl, which I'm forgetting the name of at the moment. It's the mob guy who is taking...
Oh shit! Yeah,
Hinamatsuri.
Hinamatsuri.
Yeah, Hinamatsuri. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of recency.
That
bias.
one's good, but I
It's
wouldn't
good,
put it in
but
the
it's
same
not-
like.
yeah,
It was
you know.
good, like to watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in the same category. But I mean, if we're talking about like games from this decade too, like Hollow Knight, fucking Hollow Knight was so good. Like that.
Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah,
The-
Divinity Original Sin was...
The best RPG, one of the best RPGs I played that I still can't finish.
All right, so I know we're coming on along. So
how long have we been talking?
Oh,
Is that
that's
2
fine.
hours?
It's been so long since
We're
we
just
put out
gonna
an
delete.
episode.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
just gonna put like everything we can fill up our
because so
SoundCloud.
okay, we've talked about the good
Oh,
though.
that's an hour.
We
Yeah,
really
we're
should.
good.
We should at least touch on the bad.
Well, can we like rapid fire like?
Yeah,
goods
like rapid
around,
fire bad. Like we're not.
Oh no! I wanted to rapid fire goods. Just everybody go around until you run out of things to say.
Okay.
What was something good that happened this decade? Something you like this decade? So, Trey starts.
No, what the fuck? Okay, good that happened this decade. Dark
No
Souls.
explanation.
Dark Souls. Oh goodness.
No explanation. No justification.
Dark Souls is really good. I don't care if the media has turned it into a meme. I love
said no
Dark Souls.
justification.
Okay, sure. Tyler.
Yeah, it was okay. That's tough. Something good that happened this
And it can be anything. Show, game, movie.
anything.
Yeah.
I think Red Dragon Inn happened this decade.
Oh yeah.
And that's an amazing board game. I know we don't talk about board
I
games.
haven't
I'll
played
talk
much,
about
but-
board games more.
Oh goodness.
I do love me a board. Letterkenny. I really like Letterkenny.
Shit. Can we get to the bad shit now?
Yeah. Okay. We can go to bad.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
There's a lot of bad
solid
shit.
decade, and I still have to even like look back and see what happened in 2011.
Right.
Oh, goodness,
There's a lot of
that's so much.
lot of recency bias, but like it's hard. Like it's hard to. There's so much
It
that
is.
happened that like it's kind of hard.
I mean,
to
like
figure
we
out.
just saw Cats tonight. Like,
Right. Yeah.
And Jim's Bizarre and Vim Vim has been going on since like 07.
Yeah.
I mean 27.
Oh.
Shut up. Anyway, bad. I can start with bad because my thing with bad is like there's like the fun bad that you can talk about, like Cats.
Yeah.
happened. I don't think Cats is gonna go down in history as bad. I think it'll go, if it is in history as bad, it'll be like we took the longest running Broadway musical and made a shitty movie out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when you're looking at like things that are bad that will look at, like kind of define how bad like decade could have been. Oh god, we didn't even talk about like Overwatch.
Yeah.
That happened this decade.
Okay, but
And was
I wouldn't
good when it came out.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
then
I mean,
it just progressed
They kind of
towards-
turned it bad, but
yeah. But I mean, like, it's bad for me because I like. We watched. What did we watch? Iron Sky 2
Yeah.
the other night,
which is a beautiful
which is a
movie.
bad, horrible movie.
It's a horrible movie, but man, I
Yeah.
loved.
Wait. When
I
did
don't
The
watch
Room
enough
come
bad
out?
shit.
Not did The Room come out this? Wait.
I need you to look this up, Trey.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
looking this
goodness.
up.
When
Did
did
The
that
Room
come
come out this
out?
I think
decade?
it came out in like
It might have
2008.
came out.
No, it came out in like 2008.
Yeah, I
Or
gotta
it
say
came out in
that's
like
before.
2011.
Yeah, it's gotta be
It's
before.
2003.
2003.
Yes.
We're good.
So we're
that's
good.
a
We're good.
long time ago.
Yeah, we're good.
But The Disaster Artist came out this decade.
That's true.
And kind of rehyped The Room.
Yep.
Yeah, but in terms of like bad, like, oh God, because there's like bad you can enjoy, and then there's just painfully bad, and painfully bad for me is like
things you were excited for, but then just didn't deliver.
I mean, immediately what comes to mind, because it was right when I started getting back into anime, was Juni Taisen. Still sticks with me.
Oh my God.
Just, like,
I wanted to like that so bad.
And it just sticks with me because like it was for the longest time I wasn't watching anime, and I watched that and started watching JoJo's at the same time. And it was just because like I started to try to get back into anime, and it just sticks out to me. There's so many bad animes this decade.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
but that one just
90% of the isekai.
Yeah, like
that one just again sticks out to me though, because I was like excited to watch it, got in, and then I'm like, this just went to shit.
I mean, if we're talking about most disappointing thing for me, I mean, if we're talking anime, Berserk.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, anime wise, it's got to be Goblin Slayer for me.
Oh, really?
So many people hyped up Goblin Slayer, being like, "Oh, it's such an amazing story and everything." Like, I couldn't make it through the first episode. It was that bad.
Yeah. It's very edgy. I think Goblin Slayer is okay, but it's definitely not It's not remarkable, and I think that's No, I don't think it's remarkable. I think it's just It's just one of those things where it's like people hyped it up because I think it's edgy and not because it's a good thing particularly. But for me in Berserk though, I mean, again, I literally have a Berserk tattoo. It's like my favorite thing of all time. And seeing the tragedy that was the 3D Berserk 2019 and 2016
yeah, both of them.
Oh my God.
Egregiously bad.
Goodness.
Just like aggressively bad shows made off of my favorite. And that's the thing. You watch them, and I remember you saying that you didn't hate it for the sole reason that the story was good, which speaks to the source material. And I got
to like a couple episodes in, and I was like, I don't hate this. And then once I watched more, I was like, oh yeah, this went downhill.
Yeah, because like the story is amazing. The story is fantastic, but man, it's just so poorly made. But if we're talking about don't listen to her lies.
There is a cat outside the door right now trying to convince us to let
don't listen to her.
Yeah.
She lies. Yeah, if we're talking about worst thing that I've watched or played this year that can I say just major AAA gaming companies in general this decade have really dropped the ball. Not a particular thing in nothing specific, because there's a bunch of specific things that I could tell like anything Mass Ubisoft
Effect
makes.
Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda, Fallout 76, things like that.
Yeah.
But my pick for worst thing of this decade are AAA companies, excluding maybe Nintendo.
Well, because Nintendo picked the ball back up and then immediately dropped it at the end of this decade with Sword and Shield, which looked fine, but I'm not getting more for less.
Nintendo is definitely
not. Even then, that's more Game Freak than really Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't have as much. But I think Nintendo isn't a paragon of justice like some people like to say, but they're definitely one of the better ones. But if we're talking about Western AAA companies, I've gone from being at the beginning of this decade, I've gone to being AAA developers make some of my favorite shit. I love things that they make.
Yeah.
To at the end of this decade being almost anything a AAA developer makes, I will probably dislike because it's just so cynical and so full of forced microtransactions and monetary incentives.
So I was gonna say movie, but if we're gonna go to developers and video games, I have to say, just the main thing I really hate from this decade is the character Herc from the Far Cry series. Because, my God, that guy is just such a freaking,
Herc? Wait.
Yes. I hate him.
Who's Herc?
Okay, so in the Far Cry series, they have this character who's intended to be an idiot, probably have some kind of mental disability. But they don't come right out and say it.
Oh, yeah, so every character that, what's his name from The Office is played.
Oh, yeah. Steve Carell.
Yeah, every character written by
But he's just a complete idiot, and they force him into every single game.
Really?
Huh. Every single one, past, the first maybe one or two Far Cry games. And I don't know why they keep forcing him in, because he's the worst character in the series.
Because, he's not, he doesn't think,
fun.
He don't think good.
Exactly.
Funny.
He's the comic relief, but he's not funny.
just like borderline offensive. Just
exactly. And they keep bringing him back. He was in freaking Far Cry Primal.
Yeah. Like, yup. 40,000 BC or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, when...
Wait, hang on. If we're railing on popular things, Trey, I need you to look up when The Office ended.
Oh, God.
Because The Office ended this decade. I'm nailing that show to a fucking wall.
Oh, goodness, yeah. As far as movies go, I'm gonna have to go with one of the biggest disappointments for me was the Warcraft movie.
Oh, yeah, no, that movie was bad.
I saw that on opening night.
Yeah, that was a mistake, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was totally a mistake.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, because... The thing is like...
It ended in 2013.
Okay.
Ended in 2013?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, you can give me... I'll say with the Warcraft movie, like, yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of, like, as far as a movie, like, anytime... I never trust movies, I think. Like, I very rarely go to see a movie in theaters. And I like, if I know it's going to be bad versus bad, I guess, like, with Warcraft movie, like... I kind of expected it to be bad just from like the curse of game movies.
I guess that's true too. I very rarely see movies that I don't know I'll like.
I was just hoping so much that it would be the first good game movie.
No.
Yeah.
Not that one.
It wasn't.
No. Chinese audiences loved it.
Yeah.
Because because the language barrier makes it so that the story doesn't matter. I mean, Michael Bay movies are incredibly popular in China.
Yeah, Big Explosion is good.
Yeah,
that's
because
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, Transformers. Those. Oh my god, that was such a
downhill.
I was so hopeful after the first movie.
Everybody loved the first one.
I really enjoyed the first movie, and then like every single one after that, I was like, wow, Michael Bay, my guy.
Either way, in terms of disappointment, turns out The Office ended in 2013. I am so sick of people, like, again, looking back at every good thing that has come out this decade, people cling on to that show still as, like, the pinnacle
of television
and comedy. And I was like, no, there's so much better. Workaholics, I don't like, but it's funnier, probably. Letterkenny, watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I personally don't like that show, but it's better.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec is just better
bits
Office.
And pieces of Scrubs.
Yeah, Scrubs, it was last decade though.
True.
Yeah, so we can't gas up Scrubs, but if we can get behind us as a society and finally ditch The Office, like it's a fine show.
It'd make Tinder a lot better. If you want to have a swipe left immediate, it's Horses and The Office. Anything that has The Office, just don't touch. It's like, oh man, I know this person's not original. Cool.
Yeah, just like, you know,
I want to find my Jim to my Pam. I want to kill myself.
Goodness,
yeah. I'm just trying to think, because that's like one thing that like has harped me for most of this decade now, if I'm thinking about it. It's just like people who are just, because I liked The Office.
Yeah, The Office grew on me because I rewatched the entire series recently, and it was one of those things where I like watched it and I'm like, the first few seasons are bad. I don't care what anybody says. It's
weapons grade cringe.
It's exactly it. It's just like you're sitting there like, wow, Michael sucks. Like he's racist, he's like sexist, he's just the worst person. And like toward like the middle, like he becomes like a decent person. He still is like an asshole, but
the last decade has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
As a society, I feel like at least the U.S. has changed a ton in the last decade.
Oh yeah, like the sort of things that we find tolerable as a society are definitely
and I'm
changed.
not gonna like get into that too much.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. Things in the past aren't this like they're applicable to people in that time period.
Yeah, and people our age who like have just again cling on to that. I'm like,
but I also still watch Airplane, and I still find that movie hilarious.
There are things that are timeless, but things that are made to be topical aren't going to be funny to people who like.
Yeah, it's like watching any episode of South Park like 4 years.
Oh yeah, like you try watching like the season 6 onward of South Park and try and find that funny because all they're doing is talking about or Family Guy even where it's like they're just talking about like current events, and of course it's not going to be for the same amount of funny because like it's not like humor changes. But like again, Airplane is a good example. I've seen that movie like 20 times. That movie is so funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Not from the sticker.
I know.
I'm just saying like as an example, like there are movies that transcend like.
Yeah, and I think that I don't know if it'll be anything we talked about today will be the thing that goes into like future decades. Just looking ahead.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what movies will.
I think if any,
stick with.
I think BoJack will stick around.
Mm-hmm.
I think Game Game of Thrones is always going to be a discussion.
It's gonna be like people are gonna look at history. They're gonna like look at textbooks of like how not to end the series.
Yeah, well, especially because like the fact that Game of Thrones and the Infinity Saga ended in the same year, I think it's gonna be an example of like you had these massive build-ups to one ending well, and it'll be, I don't know, not theater, like people who study film production in college are gonna have those as examples. I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to think of more garbage.
I mean, we don't have to force ourselves. I mean, we can.
Since we're releasing this around a holiday of unspecific origin, I suppose.
Some amount of holidays happening.
Some
happy holidays.
Labor Day. I'm holding this episode till Labor Day.
Do we want to talk about? I don't know if you guys have seen any holiday movies.
I don't watch holiday things.
I don't. I've only seen for the first time in my life Christmas with the Cranks, and that movie is aggressively terrible.
Yeah, I don't really watch holiday movies much.
Yeah, I don't.
So I need just crap to watch on plane rides when I come back to visit you guys.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I watched a couple movies on the plane coming back, which are relative to this time of year. If you guys are listening to this at the time of year that we are potentially recording, I suppose.
Maybe.
Last Christmas, we recorded this cast. The very next year, I put it on. Is SoundCloud going to be around in 2020?
That's a good question.
Maybe.
Who knows?
It is slowly dying, it feels like.
Is it going to sound precipitate soon?
Sound precipitate? Yeah, oh my god.
But, yes, a few movies I've watched this year. One of them that was actually pretty good, which I just have minor complaints about, was Klaus from Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that, but man, that movie is gorgeous.
It looks amazing, and that's one of the biggest pluses that it has, honestly, is the visuals are really good. The voice acting is pretty solid. My biggest complaint is that there are certain music choices for the movie which make no sense.
Oh, really?
Movie has pretty good scoring throughout, and then they just suddenly throw in modern music, and it just throws everything off, and it feels like a completely different movie.
Oh, I hate when... that is one of my biggest pet peeves in a lot of movies, is when they throw in, like,
pop culture
song. Yeah. Like, just for no... Like, it doesn't fit the theme of the movies at all. It's just, like, it's popular, so they want to get a...
So that movie was... I would say pretty good, but it could have some improvements. The other big one I watched, which is also a Netflix one. Actually, I guess I did watch Noelle too, which is a Disney Plus one, which I think was just released.
I don't even know what that is.
This year. It was an okay one, but it had some good laughs, but ultimately okay. It's a Disney movie. It's generally unoffensive unless you're Jewish.
Unless, get fucked Jews. Jesus.
But the other big main one I watched was The Christmas Night or something like that. It's another one. It's a Netflix. It's on Netflix at least. Right. It feels very much like a Hallmark movie.
Oh boy, that's a.
I know.
It's a high praise.
It's a very high praise, isn't it? So the general story is that there is a knight who is in the past who is doing something, I don't know, some medieval thing, and some witch comes up to him and is like, "Sup, you're in the future." And then the knight is in the future, and he falls in love with this girl from the future. And
they have graphic sex just on camera.
super
explicit,
graphic sex. Oh goodness,
just all kinds of bits showing.
Yeah. This is an AO movie.
I didn't sign up for this. I do not consent.
Yeah. So my biggest issue.
I have the power. I'm gonna cut all this out.
My biggest issue with the movie is that it just. There's so many things where it's like, oh, the knight's ways were better than our modern ways. Like, this knight remedy for some, like, current illness.
What? About laying the pipe still.
Yeah, get that chick. Thine wench. We did it way better in my day. Missionary only, no lights.
That was just stuck in my head.
The knight totally refers to a person as a wench in the movie. So
of course.
that's
Right.
Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing is how there's like little things like he has this like homeopathic thing to cure a disease, and it works magically.
So wait, okay, that's what I was going to ask actually. So does the movie objectively say that the things in the past were better than the things in the future?
Yes.
But the president of the present kissed my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the movie is basically like, oh, they made bread better in the past.
Of course.
And
what?
And they had medicine better in the past. And they like all these things.
It feels like all this movie needs is a MAGA hat somewhere.
Oh goodness, yes.
It would have been like the
most family fun.
Yep.
Remember when things were better, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
Oh god, so that was this movie. That was just this movie in a nutshell. It was otherwise, like, I would say 80 to 90% of it was unoffensive. It was just some girl wants to, like, jump some knight. Like...
Respectable.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Netflix.
Yep. But the rest of it was just this, like... crazy nonsense that was like, oh, things in the past were so much better than things.
Yeah,
like,
remember when life expectancy was like 40 years?
Yeah, they were so much better about medicine than our current doctors. So much.
Yeah, this is why they all lived so long.
Yeah, I just want to believe like he like mixes some herbs, looks at the camera, and says no vaccines. Then he just hands it.
If there could just be like a long shot, single scene, 25 minutes long of him just looking at her. What do you mean you inject them with a form of the virus that would make them sick? What even is a virus?
What do you mean it causes autism?
I will say there was a scene where the knight watched a whole day or a whole night, I suppose, of current media, and like the next day was like, oh yeah, that was lit AF. Oh goodness, it was so bad.
I hate it.
So bad.
Can I delete a movie from Netflix?
I'm sure this will be a Christmas classic.
Yeah, this is gonna age like a fine cheese,
like a fine milk.
Like a fine milk. Well, really selling it. Okay. So before we sign us off, because I think we should probably wrap it up.
We should.
We all saw Star Wars.
We did all see Star Wars.
We should give our general impressions. No, we're not.
There might be moderate spoilers here. I'll just give that warning.
I think this because this is at the end of the podcast. Y'all can shut it off here. Merry Christmas or whatever holiday Dan throws us in. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, fucking Labor Day, whatever. You could end this right
tax
here.
Tax Day? I'll get released by tax day.
We're spoiling the shit out of Star Wars, so stop this podcast if you don't want to hear it.
Which is honestly a pretty objectively important part of this decade. The fact that but the prequels weren't this decade, right?
No. Prequels are definitely not.
Early on.
Yeah. But the new trilogy is definitely all this decade. So
yes,
including and also the side stories.
Disney procuring Star Wars this decade.
Just to introduce this. Dan, you have seen what? Just the most recent Star Wars?
The Rise of Star Wars.
I have only seen Rise of Skywalker from the new trilogy. Okay. I've seen Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker.
Trey, you and we've seen all of it.
I've seen all of it, yeah.
Okay, correct. Good.
Yeah.
Just making sure we make that clear.
Besides Solo. I have not seen Solo yet.
Yeah, but it doesn't tie in.
No.
But I just full disclosure, haven't seen Solo.
So. I haven't seen Solo, and is there another one? It was just Rogue One and Solo,
Rogue One and Solo, yeah.
Rogue One and Solo.
I've seen Rogue One, I haven't seen Solo.
Mm-hmm. And Mandalorian now is a big Star Wars
I have seen Mandalorian.
I don't think Mandalorian's going to be
But we're not talking about that.
Nope.
We're going to talk about the
Rise of Skywalker
and maybe this trilogy as a whole, just like as a...
Again, spoilers. This... We who knows how in depth we're gonna go. We can't guarantee we're not gonna say anything spoilery.
Okay, I'm gonna say a lot of things spoilery.
We're probably gonna say.
I guarantee it.
Can I lead in? I'll just say because I think I probably have the least to say because I'm not a big Star Wars fan to also lead in. But my two things I have about that movie. Boy, that movie was a lot of Star Wars.
A lot of things.
And
a lot of stuff.
And also. Oh boy, I guess Palpatine really was behind it all.
He really was. Well, to go, I know you said in the car ride back, like you mentioned fan fiction.
Yes.
Okay, so full disclosure, I actually kind of liked Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was fun movie.
I thought it was fun. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was a great movie.
No.
I thought it was a fun movie that hit a lot of the like emotional high notes that I wanted.
I thought it was an okay movie, but I thought there were certain points that just really ruined the movie for me.
So here's what the first thing I came out and I told my dad let's make Walker the movie. First thing I said was, "Damn, I wish JJ had just directed the whole trilogy."
Yeah, no, because
what he basically tries to do in the entire last movie is just throw Rian Johnson in the fucking trash can and just be like, this last movie is just 2 movies. It's just 2 movies that just kind of shoved together.
Well, so full disclosure, I'll say like the best comparison I have is so there is, I'll say, and I stole this completely from Walter. I think he did it with you guys the other night too. But the way he describes it is we have this improv game called, it's a 3-line scene where you basically say yes and to what the person before you says. Yes and. So you build and like the general rule is you don't say no. So how this joke goes is J.J. Abrams starts the scene and goes like, "Hey son, isn't this a great time that we're having in our house together to like, you know, get ready for your birthday?" And he goes, "Fuck you, I've never seen you before in my life, Dr. Johnson, and also we're in space." And then the third movie is the first person going back, yes, we are in space, and you know, I have that condition where I dress up like a doctor for work, and, you know, like just trying to shamble together after Rian Johnson just decided to not follow through on anything.
I have a theory about this one and this isn't 100% true because I don't know what your opinions on the Last Jedi are, Tyler, but I feel like a lot of people who like The Last Jedi would probably not like this movie at all because one, it basically invalidates that entire movie.
Okay, you see, I thought both of them were very average.
Yeah,
that's every Star Wars movie.
I didn't like The Last Jedi much at all, I'll be honest. I thought that movie was kind of trash, but...
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I thought that one was slightly worse than this movie was, but that's only because there were some pretty decent action scenes in this movie.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that I thought the movie was gorgeous. I thought the visuals in the movie were very cool.
Yes.
Like, them fight... You cannot tell me them fighting on the bones of the Death Star was not fucking cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Plus the one where like Rey was in Kylo's chambers.
Yeah, and they were fighting like between 2 different ships.
Yes.
Okay, so all right. So best part about the entire new trilogy was Rey and Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah,
those
Adam
two,
Driver is
we don't deserve him.
Yeah.
That man is amazing. I just like those two in all 3 movies. Their interactions were the most interesting things of the whole trilogy.
Minus their last interaction.
Yes, minus their last interaction.
Okay, I actually thought the kiss wasn't that bad.
No.
I will say, because again, going into that movie not knowing anything,
I thought they were romantically coded the entire trilogy.
I did not.
I saw it. I thought they were more
sibling.
No, I saw it as there was definitely romantic.
They were totally sibling.
Or they were doing a callback where it was the romantically coded and siblingly coded.
It's consistent.
It's like stanzas, they rhyme.
Because it was totally implied throughout the entire trilogy that they were brother and sister.
Was it?
Until the end.
Was it though?
Yeah, they did the flip. They did the flip of Luke and Leia. They did the flip
you thought they were siblings,
because
but they weren't.
The whole thing was like, you are connected. You are on the same level. You are basically family.
I thought,
and then at the very
end, that was because they were the only people who were light and dark, though, besides like Palpatine and Snoke. But it was definitely okay. Like their interaction, you cannot tell me Rey like walking in while shirtless fucking like Ben Swallow was sitting there with his shirt off and like, "What's up, Rey?" Then he starts lifting right in front of her.
Except for
he starts doing
Ben Solo lifting, there would just be like douchey jockey like brother.
No, it's definitely like, "What's up? Want to see my nipples?" And he takes his shirt.
All right. I'm not making the title of this episode Nerds Yell About Star Wars for 4 hours.
Can it be "What's up? Want to see my nipples"? Can that be the title?
No, that's my new name for you in my phone, though.
Okay, well, anyway, I thought the entire series that they were romantically coded, so I just kind of when the kiss happened, I was like, sure.
Okay,
it made sense to
disagree,
me.
But whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, but going
ambivalent.
In like general impression of the trilogy as a whole, though, Negative or positive?
Goodness, I think it was okay.
Like middling. Yeah, like lukewarm.
At best, like
fun blockbusters is where I think I end
better,
up on.
Better than the trilogy with Jar Jar.
Which is actually a hot take these days.
Okay, well,
weirdly enough.
People like to meme the prequels.
Yeah, but somehow they memed it so much that people kind of convinced themselves the prequel trilogy was good. Which
no, you go back and watch it.
They're bad. They're so bad.
There's good scenes, but then you also have like again, the best thing I can say for the prequel trilogy. I don't want to talk too much about it. Red Letter Media's reviews tear apart and dissect those more than anybody. Yeah. They are like Have you seen them, Tyler?
No.
Okay, I would recommend people watch them. I watched them for the first time like today. So they're really good at dissecting where the prequel trilogy went actually
right.
wrong.
And I think Cosmonaut Variety Hour also he's recently did a video on all the trilogy movies, and man, he also tears them a new one.
Yeah.
Like
if anything, I think my other thing with this trilogy now wrapping up is, and I've heard that this is going to be, first of all, it's the end of what's the Skywalker saga which is all three
trilogies.
Yeah, and I heard that for future Star Wars movies, they're going to move away from the trilogy aspect.
To be fair, they're saying it's not guaranteed. There might be trilogies in the future. They're just not guaranteed. They're doing it on a movie-to-movie basis.
I will say I'm okay with there being trilogies as long as they do new characters.
Yeah, right. I'm done with the Skywalker. I wouldn't hate Finn having his own thing, but like that's.
I agree. But I'm done with this whole, like, every movie has to be a parade of, hey, remember all these characters that you previously experienced?
Yeah, like Yaddle.
Uh-huh.
Where was Ahsoka? Remember Ahsoka Tano? I remember Ahsoka Tano. But, okay, so, for me, I think, honestly, like, as a fan of Star Wars and as somebody who didn't hate the first or the third movie, I honestly think the trilogy as a whole, just because of the fact they didn't have a unified vision going into all three movies, I think it's a negative. Honestly, I would probably give it a thumbs down. Like, I don't think, for the sole reason where the movies didn't have a voice, because every movie was supposed to have a different director, and I thought that's the dumbest way to do a trilogy.
Yeah, the thing with different directors too, and I'll say this, I had this conversation recently, is you can also look at, to tie it back to like MCU as a comparison, those movies all have different directors, but Kevin Feige had his hands in those movies as an overseeing.
There's no overarch, because like same with the original trilogy, George Lucas only directed the first movie, so like. The best people think The Empire Strikes Back is the best one. He didn't direct that one, but he was also overseeing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So like, that's the one thing that this trilogy really lacked, because Rian Johnson had so much creative freedom over that, and then then Disney just kind of was like panicking, and they were like, "Shit, there's no way to make a third movie out of this. Let's just throw JJ back in," because JJ wasn't supposed to direct the third movie. No. So like.
I don't think he should have.
I mean, I think it should have been an all or nothing sort of deal, where it's like he either directed all three or he didn't. But somebody should have been. I think he should have had creative authority over all three movies, even if he didn't direct the second one. Just because, like it or hate his style of movies, he started it. Yep. So it should have been his vision going through the whole thing, just for creative consistency, if nothing else.
I will say, compared to any of the other movies, the third movie here was more so than any other movie just J.J. Abrams' like personal fan fiction.
Yeah, I know you've said that, like, and especially with
Dio. Yeah, specifically to the point where he literally inserted himself in the fan fiction. If you did not know, he voiced Dio. Which was a new droid that was added in this new movie.
Yeah, which had no point to being there.
No, he literally had 0 point. His entire point was to be a J.J. Abrams self-insert.
Well, and at least like Taika Waititi did that. He gave us Korg.
But at least Korg was like a character. He even shows up later, so it's not like he's consistent. He's consistent, and also that was a comedy practically. Like it's an action comedy. Like the stakes were not not that high in that movie.
And I will say like more of a drama.
This was more of a drama, and I don't even say drama. I say action.
No, but Star Wars in general is like an action drama.
Adventure drama, yeah.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I don't know. This one, it felt very. I'll say fanficky, and also in the sense of like callbacky.
Yeah,
like,
but it is the last movie in a 9-movie like saga. So like, if any movie has the right to be callbacky, I think it should be that movie.
But when you're spending like 5 minutes per character, like per callback. That's a lot.
It is.
And that's like so much movie that you could be doing things with.
Yeah, but the still, like, even with that, there was a lot of things, like, too many things happening.
Yes.
This is like, one of those things, again, it should have been 2 movies. If it had been 2 movies, I think it would have been a lot more,
even
like, a lot easier of a pill
up,
to swallow.
Like, the possibility of at least a half a dozen new movies. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you know, you can do that somehow, as long as Chewbacca's alive.
Yeah, Orlando somehow coming, I don't know, like...
Oh, I mean...
somehow...
looking a little well,
like,
buddy.
Yeah, it's like, dude can't walk without a fucking like without a fucking cane.
They totally like hinted at a Lando and that random
daughter, daughter movie.
Yeah, and I mean that's whatever. Let him have a little side adventure.
True.
Give him a TV show.
Disney Plus. Do a Disney Plus.
That's the thing. And that's the thing that like I'm worried about going into the next decade is the Disney Plusification of a lot of things. But not going to get into that. I don't know. Overall, I did enjoy the Star Wars movie a lot. Why the fuck horses?
Yeah,
I kind of like that scene because it was just so stupid.
Yeah, I just like that we can't hack them.
Yeah, we can't hack them, so we're gonna do a cavalry charge on top of a Star Destroyer.
Which was in the upper atmosphere, which means none of those things would have had adequate oxygen.
But it was so stupid.
Yes,
it was so.
That's 100% what it was.
Star Wars.
It was so because I mean,
no, it's not even Star Wars. Star Wars, I need like speeder, bite, fate thing.
I guess
that's like a Hobbit movie thing.
To be fair, it was so dumb. I loved it just because of like they just like threw it out. They're like, whatever. Horses on a Star Destroyer.
Deal with it.
That is also a Death Star because all of them are Death Stars, and also they were built into the ground. I don't know, dude. Who cares?
Fuck, whatever. At this point, I think whatever.
And also, they're stuck in the atmosphere because fuck it, I don't know.
Yeah, because the MacGuffin beacon.
No, the MacGuffin beacon got them out of the atmosphere. Because that's part of the reason this whole Sith plan was. I don't know. There's Star Wars nerds that can dissect this.
It doesn't matter.
We're gonna get crucified.
It doesn't matter. Star Wars is stupid. It's always been stupid. Yeah. Like there's always been stupid MacGuffins all over. You know how many times
Boba Fett has died before, when like in the non-canon?
Yeah, or like the fact that the Death, the Death Star was so dumb they had to make a movie about why it was dumb. That's how stupid it was.
I'm not getting into why that's
no. I'm just saying, Star Wars has always been stupid. If you don't think an exhaust vent on the Death Star blowing up the whole thing was dumb, then whatever. Like, there's no saving that series. Like, we can't talk about how stupid that series is. A cavalry charge and a Star Destroyer is stupid, but it isn't even the stupidest thing in the series.
I don't even think it's the stupidest thing in that movie.
Yeah,
that's true. Okay, it's stupid. It was cool, but it's stupid. But the whole like connection they have, it's like, oh, I can grab things.
Oh, you grab things from other.
Yeah, but that lightsaber handoff, I was like, oh, you son of a.
I love that. That was so.
When they did the necklace thing, I was like, oh, that's stupid. And then when I saw that he could do the lightsaber thing, I was like,
at least there was a callback.
It came.
At least it was internally consistent.
Yeah, it came full circle, and I was like, I liked that a lot.
Yeah. Also, the Knights of Ren just kind of posing for the entire movie.
Okay, the one
like they don't do anything, but
the one guy who has like this thing,
the axe.
Yeah, he's got that. Walter was whispered in my ear. He's like, bro, we're gonna go play some lax after.
The thing is, their fight was the most pathetic thing ever.
Well, I just love how they've literally been hyping the Knights of Ren up since the first movie.
Yeah,
and they literally the only thing they do this entire movie is just pose.
Well, and it was the same that like people complain with Snoke is like, oh, we have Snoke, and yeah, he just didn't matter, and a lot of people were mad about that. And then they literally in this one, like, yeah,
There's a vat of Snoke.
Yeah, he literally didn't matter.
Tub of Snokes over here.
We got so many of them.
We grow them in tubes, whatever.
Yeah, you want one, buy one, get one free right now.
Yeah, it's so I think.
But again, Star Wars has always been stupid. I'm sorry. I love Star Wars. I think it's like an incredible universe. It's always been dumb. There's never been a point where Star Wars wasn't completely idiotic.
Yeah, and I think I will get to the other two in the trilogy in this new one. I think I'll just watch them.
Yeah, I think they're worth watching just to like say you did it. Mm-hmm. Like, you like or hate them, just say you did it.
Yeah, I got time. I'll watch them.
Yeah. But that being said, I think honestly think the Star Wars discussion will probably have come up again because I have a lot more to say about it. But this is also probably coming up on 2 hours at this point.
It's getting there.
Yeah, so I think
yell about Star Wars for 45 minutes.
We may want to wrap. But I think we should probably maybe wrap this up.
Yeah,
maybe.
You know what? I just don't have to edit it, and I'll just put live episode.
You could do that. Just bloopers and all shit.
All of us talking to your family, talking to the cat.
Yeah,
doing some of this
episode. Some chewing, even though we ate nothing.
Oh, I do love this bag of corn nuts I got by me.
Oh goodness!
I sure do love those Tostino's pizza rolls.
Oh, that's hello.
Callback.
Hello. Callback. Yeah, no, but yeah, I'll say I'll get this one up before the end of the decade.
Remind me in the
New Year's
future,
special.
I need to put microphones in cages so you guys just cannot interact with them.
Be like a lost gorilla.
You can't stop me.
Solid decade, good
decade.
Yeah,
I'm glad we started this podcast this decade.
Yeah, that happened.
True.
That was a negative. Yeah. When will we record again? God only knows.
Who knows?
Hopefully
who's
soon.
to say?
We're on break. Some of us are on break.
Yeah.
I'm on break.
I'm a little far from home at the moment.
I'm on break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Haha.
Yeah.
But
I'm hungry.
I mean, thanks everybody for listening though. It's been a real pleasure. Just everybody who's commented and said they've listened to it. I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We were supposed to give Ethan a shout out. Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan, when you finally get to this in 2024, thanks
eat
for
dick.
Yeah, you piece of shit. Get out of here. I hate you. I don't mean that.
Nah.
But so maybe we should sign off, everybody.
Yeah.
New Year's last sign off of the year.
Yeah, last sign off of the decade.
Last sign off of the decade.
Is this the part where we all sing? For all the acquainted
Jellicle cats. All
right, but it's Dan. I'm out of here.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my house. It actually works. Yeah. Oh my god. Holy shit, you're actually in my house. I've been waiting.
I'm just signing off saying, I love you, dumpster goblins.
Oh yeah, my dumpies.
Yeah, you dumpies. Get out of here.
I can find the stop button here.
Please hit stop and make sure to save that.
I'm sorry.
Stop and
Look,
don't delete
I'm
it.
drunk right now.
He's gonna get home, just delete it offhand, be like, "Oh, guys, you ready to record again?"